Hey guys, in this video I'm going to show you how middlewares work in Nuxt.js, and I'm going to add a middleware to the shop posting application that we created on the first video of the series. The middlewares that we create in a Nuxt.js application are going to run in two cases. First, when we make a request directly to the application, here, and second, when we navigate to a page using the Nuxt link tag here. We can set up a middleware at three levels. At the Nuxt config file level, and in this case, the middleware will be called for every route change. At the layout level, in this case, the middleware will be called in all the pages that include that layout. And finally, at the page level, and in this case, the middleware will be called when the page is loaded. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I also included a few links in the description below, so check them out. And now let's jump into Visual Studio Code. Okay, so I'm going to create a new middleware, a test middleware within the middleware folder. I'm going to create a new file. Let's call it test.js. And I'm going to create a really simple function, export default function, where I'm going to receive the route that we are accessing on the application, route, and I'm going to log a message and the path within that route. So console.log, and let's say current URI, and we're going to pass here the path of the route. I'm going to save this. Okay, now that we have our middleware function, I'm going to set up that middleware within this Nuxt config file. So I'm going to add a router setup here, and within that router I'm going to assign the middleware that we want to run, and I need to include the name of the file, that in this case is test.js, but I don't need to include the extension, so I'm going to save this. And I'm going to reload the server. And now if we reload the page, we're going to see that the server is going to log the message that we defined here and the path that is actually the root path. Let's open the console here on the browser. Let me clean this up. And if we go to the About page, for example, this is going to log the message just on the client. But if we refresh, let me refresh this, it's going to log the message, or it's going to run the middleware on the server. Again, if I go to the home page, it's going to log, or it's going to run the middleware on the client. It's going to log the message here on the console of the browser. And the same if I go here to one specific shop, where it's going to log the message in the console of the browser. But if I reload, it's going to log the message, or it's going to run the middleware on the server. Okay, that's how the middleware behaves when we set it up here on the Nuxt.config file. I'm going to remove it from here, and I'm going to set it up on a page. So let's go to, I don't know, let's say the index page, and here we can specify middleware test, We save this. Okay, I'm going to restart the server now. Every time that we restart the server, the application is going to reload. That's why it's running the middleware on the server. If we go to the About page, nothing is going to happen because this middleware is going to run just on the index page. If we go back to the index page, we're going to see that the middleware is going to log the message on the client, or it's going to run the middleware on the client. Let's remove this. Okay, now let's create middleware to store the views on each of these shop postings. So I want to store locally. Every time that a user clicks on each of these shops, I want to count a new view on this page. So we're going to create a new function. Let's rename this one. Let's call it Vuex.js. And here I'm going to receive the route, but we're going to use Vuex. And we're going to define our store so we can store locally the views for each path. So let's go to the store and let's create a new index file where we're going to create this store. And here we're going to define export const state. As the state of the application, we are going to create a map where we're going to have the routes of each specific shop position as the key of the map, and as the value of the map, we're going to have the number of views or visits to that specific URL. So this is going to be views, and I'm going to initialize this as a new map. Okay, now I'm going to create the getters, export const, so we can get the views on each page and we can show that information on each page. Getters, and here I'm going to define a getViews function where I'm going to receive the state of the application. And here I'm going to return a new function. This is going to be an arrow function where I'm going to receive the path and I'm going to return the number of visits. So I'm going to use the path to access this map that we defined as the state of the application, and I'm going to get the value associated to that path within the map, and this is going to give me the views for that page. So first I'm going to check if the path is already added to the map. So state.views, here I'm accessing the map, and then I'm going to check if the value associated to this path is undefined or not. So I'm going to pass the path, get, and I'm going to pass the path here. And if it's not undefined, I'm going to assign this to a count variable that I need to declare here first. Let count, this is going to be 0 by default. And here I'm going to assign state.views.get path. So here I access the value associated to the path because I know that is already defined. And here I'm going to return that number. And what I need to add here is a mutation. So every time that the user access a job posting, this middleware is going to run because we're going to set the middleware to run within these job posting pages. So export const mutations equals, and we define an add view function where I receive the state and the path. And here I need to do something pretty similar to the previous function, to the getter function, because I need to check if the path is already within this map. If it is, I need to increment the count. So I need to initialize the count again. Let count. By default, it's going to be 1 because if the path is not part of the map, I need to initialize it with just one visit, the initial one. So here I'm going to assign as the count is going to be state.views that get path plus 1, because I know that here this entry already exists within this map. And now I'm going to set the new value to the map. So state.views, here is our map, and I'm going to use the set function where I'm going to set the number of visits to this path. So the key of the map is the path, and the value is going to be the count. Okay. So that's pretty much what we need for the Vuex store. Now I'm going to access the shop posting page, and I'm going to assign the middleware here. So middleware, equals to, in this case, it's going to be views. I'm going to save this. It's going to reload. Okay, and now let's see what happened here. Let me clean this. So if I refresh here, yeah, we're going to get the console log here on the server. Okay, I'm going to clean this. Okay, now we know that when we access each of the shop postings, the middleware is running. So let's try with this position. Okay, if I refresh, I get the log here. And if I go back to the home page, and if I access another shop post, for example here, this one, this is going to log, or is going to run the middleware on the client. Okay, so what we need to do here on our middleware is actually we need to commit these here. We need to commit this mutation that we created in our Vuex store. Okay, now if we go back to the views middleware, we need to add another parameter here that is going to be the store, actually. Store and route. I'm going to remove this, and what we need to do here is we need to commit the new view, because this is going to run every time that we access a specific shop posting. So store that commit, and we need to pass the name of the function, of the mutation actually. It's going to be a view. And we pass the path as a parameter, route that path. Okay, and now what we need to do is, actually we need to show the views, right? So first what we can do is we can show that information on each of these cards. So what we need to do here is we need to pass the number of views to each of these shop posts elements. So this is the index file. This is within the index file, and we need to pass that information to the shop post title component. So let's go to that component and let's add a new prop here. That is going to be, copy this. It's going to be views. The type is going to be a number, required false, and default is going to be 0. Oh, this is from here. Okay, now we have the properties, shop, and views, and I'm going to add that information here. Below the title, I'm going to create another paragraph just to keep it really, really simple. And let's say views. And here I'm going to show the views. Okay, let's refresh this. And now as we can see, we get 0. Okay, now I need to go to the index file and I need to pass that value here. So views. And we need to find a function here where we access the Vuex store and we get the actual views. And yeah, we're gonna need to add the path as a parameter. That is actually this one. We're gonna need to pass this to the function to access the map, which has these paths as the key. And the value is associated to this path. Okay, let's define the function. First, we need to import the getters. Import map getters from Vuex. And here we can define a computed property. Computed. That is going to be these map getters that we just imported. And within these getters, we're going to have a views property with the name of the function that is within the store. That is actually this one, get views. I'm going to copy that name. I'm going to paste it here. I'm going to save this. If I refresh, okay, we get the shop postings. So now if I go to any of these shop postings, I should see the number of views increased. So yeah, I get 1 view here. If I go again, if I go back, I should get 2. If I access this one, I should get 1. Okay, now it's working as we expect. Okay, and another thing that we can do to show this information, we can add this information within each of these posts. So let's do that. So I'm going to add a new prop. Here is going to be the same that we added here. Use. And we're going to need to show that here somewhere. Yeah, we're going to keep it really simple. We're going to show that below the title. going to be views. And we need to pass this value here on the ID page. That is actually the page that we have here. And again, we need to import the mapGetter function the same way we did here. Okay, we need to import the mapGetters from Vuex, and we need to create a computed attribute like this. Okay, and I'm going to add the views here. And now, as we can see, we get the views. I'm going to go back and I'm going to access, yeah, this is the one that we already accessed. So back to home. And this is wrong. Yeah, because we are not calling the function from the ID. Okay, yep. We are not calling the function. Okay, we need to do this actually. We need to, yeah, do the same here. Okay, and now I forgot to add this here. We need to call the function and we need to pass the current path. So that's what happened. Okay, we need to refresh this. Yeah, because this is current job post. Current job post that ID. Okay. That was the problem. Okay. I'm going back. And close this. And if I enter here, I should see 2 views. Yeah. If I go back, I get 2 views. If I enter here, 1 view. So that's pretty much it. If I enter again, 2 views. If I go back, I see 2 views. Okay. So that's pretty much what I have for today. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to like and subscribe. And I see you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye.